The long-awaited military hearing for Sergeant Bowe Bergdahl of Haley, charged with desertion and misbehavior before the enemy in Afghanistan back in 2009, started at Fort Sam Houston, Texas today. Scott Logan has been following the proceedings. He has our top story.
It's called an Article 32 hearing, and it could last several days. It's essentially the military version of a preliminary hearing. No cameras are allowed, but plenty of reporters are inside. The prosecution opened the hearing saying it was, quote, deliberate and knowing disregard displayed by Sergeant Bowe Bergdahl when he left his post while deployed to Afghanistan in 2009. The prosecution says Bergdahl had prepared to leave his post weeks in advance, sending emails to family that said, be prepared, expect something, and stay calm. Defense attorneys declined an opening statement, simply saying the government should make Bergdahl's initial statement available to the public. Bergdahl's civilian attorney told the media what an asset those documents would be to the public.
Many people have made up their minds. A few people maybe haven't. I think it would be healthy for everyone to have more information rather than less information.
Prosecutors called witnesses, including Bergdahl's platoon leader, who testified he felt, quote, utter disbelief when told Bergdahl was missing. The platoon leader called Bergdahl a stellar soldier up to that point and described a grueling search for Bergdahl. The prosecution says Bergdahl endangered his fellow soldiers by leaving the combat post undermanned and causing them to go look for him. It's unclear if Bergdahl will actually take the stand. Once the hearing is over, all testimony and evidence will be sent to the U.S. Army Forces Command, which will decide whether or not there's going to be a full court-martial or the matter will be resolved in another way. In the studio, Scott Logan, KBOI2 News.
Now, a court-martial is essentially a trial conducted by the U.S. military for alleged violations of the U.S. military's criminal code. So let's take a look at how we got to today's hearing. Bergdahl disappeared back in 2009. He had been in Afghanistan less than 2 months. The month after his disappearance, the Taliban released the first video of Bergdahl. Another video of him in captivity was released on Christmas Day that year. More videos were released in the next 5 years. The U.S. government revealed it had talked with the Taliban about freeing Bergdahl back in 2012. Bergdahl was freed in May of 2014. Now, his freedom was part of a prisoner swap for 5 Taliban leaders who were being held at Guantanamo Bay. In March of this year, Bergdahl was charged with desertion and again that misbehavior before the enemy. Here's a look at what the Army defines as desertion. Any member of the armed forces who quits his unit, organization, or place of duty with intent to avoid hazardous duty, or to shirk important service. He's also charged with misbehavior before the enemy, which is defined as any person subject to this chapter who before or in the presence of the enemy through disobedience, neglect, or intentional misconduct endangers the safety of any such command, unit, place, or military property. Stay with us for the latest on the Bowe Bergdahl hearing. We'll have continuing coverage tonight at 10. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for updates in between the newscasts.